Hey guys, welcome to Talkin Talons. I'm your host Maritza and our guest speaker.
Maribel Silva.
So to start off with everything, how was your day?
Going well, going.
It's going well. That's perfect. So I know that Veterans Day is coming up very soon. How or what does it mean to you? What does Veterans Day mean to you?
It's a day to honor our, veterans, people that have served in the military in all branches. So it's nice to get support, and I know that throughout history, not every veteran was supported or honored or like treated right, and so it's nice to see that people embrace us.
And were you in the military yourself?
Yes, I was in the Army Reserves for 8.5 years. I was a sergeant. I was a mechanic. My unit was water purification, so I would fix like the water pumps that would distribute the water, generators, and as a mechanic, anything that would come in, like the Humvees and all that kind of stuff.
And how did you get that job or that position?
Um, w- when when I went to MEPS to sign up, I guess they look at your ASVAB score, and depending on what it is that you're good at, they offer you certain jobs. And one of them was mechanic. So, the one that they offered me was that or like a clerical job, but the clerical, I'll be honest, the mechanic job came with a bonus. So I was like, okay, let's go for that. Like, I guess I'm good at that if that's the score that I got on the ASVAB.
So I do understand that the ASVAB is a test. And what type of genres are there? Because I know there's like three different types. It's math, vocabulary, and reading. How did you do on that?
I've gotten a good enough score to get the jobs that I was offered, plus the unit that I wanted. Those are the jobs that were offered at that unit. Otherwise, if I wanted to get something else, then I'd have to go somewhere else, and I didn't want to do that. I liked this one. But yeah, it has like different areas, and I don't know how they thought that I would be a good mechanic, but yeah.
So you are the first woman I've interviewed that was in the military. So how was military life for you?
It was good. I enjoy it. I was in ROTC throughout high school, so I was very much into it. It was life, and it was just a natural fit. It was the next step to take once I was in there. It just fits my personality. I like structure. I like to um like know what the rules are and what I can and cannot do, and then of course be in charge and tell other people what to do. So that was nice too.
And how long have you been in the military for again?
I was in it for 8.5 years.
Wow, you must have been really you really must have loved it because I believe like the contract that you had to sign is like 4 years. Did you sign another four?
So I was a reservist. So how that works is kind of like the National Guard, where you go like 1 week in the month and then 2 weeks in the summer. Um, for that for the reserves, you sign up for 6 years and then you're inactive 2 years, where your name is still in the list. If something happens, they could still
Mhm.
call you up. But I was already there and I was already going to be on the list. I was like, all right, let's just go for it.
And what's the difference between Memorial and Veterans Day?
Memorial Day is to honor s- soldiers that have passed away like in duty and stuff like that. And Veterans Day is to honor those that, that are still alive and have served, just in general have served.
Do you have any advice for people that want to join or are thinking about joining?
Um Obviously try to get as high a score on your ASVAB as you can. The higher your score, the more options you'll have as far as a career in the military. And then don't sign anything like when do your contract or anything like that until they offer you a job that you actually want, because then that's what you're going to have to do. And I always tell, because I have students that ask me, and I'll tell them like, just make sure that if you can, try to get a job that you can do outside of the military. So like I've had friends who were that worked in the air traffic control towers, and so as when they finish their military service, then they can do that outside of the military, and that's a really good paying job.
That's pretty cool. One last thing before we end off. How do you have to mentally and physically prepare yourself for the military?
So, like I said, I was in the an ROTC for the 4 years, and our instructor was a Green Beret. So, when we would train, like for summer camp and stuff like that, like it was brutal. So when I went into the military, I was physically already prepared. Mentally, I remember my recruiter just told me, he's like, "What are like? No matter what you do at the beginning in the training, they're gonna make you do push-ups, so just be prepared for that. Um, and don't take anything personally and just do your best.
Well, I really loved it and enjoyed you being here. I thank you for serving our country, and I really appreciate having you here. It was really nice to meet you.
Thank you, likewise.
Hey guys, welcome to Talking Talons. I'm your host Maritza and our guest speaker.
I am Sergeant Mendoza.
Today we're gonna be talking about Veterans Day and what it means to you. So, would you like to give us a little explanation of why Veterans Day is so important to you?
Well, just like every other soldier that's gone through the military, we've gone through to basically serve our country, and this holiday is more of just a recognition from the, I would say, civilian side, the um, other than military, to recognize us for our service. So it's just important that we all get recognized as far as what we put in for this country, and the hours, the time, the way away from family members, took a lot of toll on a lot of us.
And also, what's the difference between Memorial and Veterans Day?
But memorial's a day to remember those that have passed, and veterans are those that have served and are still with us. So that's the way we are able to recognize those soldiers.
Okay. Also, how did army life treat you? Like, how was it for you?
It was great. I was in the reserve side, which is different than the active duty. The active duty, you stay there 24/7. Reserve side, you get to come home on, after you do your time. You do 1 week in a month, 2 weeks out of the year. The only time you're away is from the 2 weeks. But, we had to do some service, actually, active duty service at one point at a time in my career. And, that's kind of the difference from how I've basically did my time. So
Okay.
most of it was just all reserve side. So
And how long were you in the reserves?
24 years.
24 years. Wow. And what job did you have while you were active in the army?
I started off as a helicopter repairer, Blackhawks. Did that about 4 years, and then after that, as I was going through some training, I heard somebody explain to me or talk to me about a drill sergeant unit, and growing up, that's all the stories I heard from my father about how he went to basic, and how the drill sergeants were rough on them, and it just kind of interests me. And then when I heard that there was a drill sergeant unit, uh, first thing I did when I got back from my training, the school that I was at, I looked it up, and they had one there in Austin, Texas, and so I went ahead and called them up. They invited me in, and then from there they just uh, sent me to drill sergeant school. After I completed that, I had to go back and reclassify as a 13 Bravo, which is a cannon crew member. Those that get to shoot off the big cannon howitzers. And so I had to train on that. Reason for that is because when you go to basic training and train the trainees, you had to be qualified in one of those specific jobs that are there at the basic training site. So had to go to training in that. So that was my second MOS, which is my military occupational specialty, which is the job. So and that was it. And I just went through the ranks and finished and retired.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. As a reserve, were you ever interested in being active or wanting to be active?
At first, the reason why I went reserves was because of, I was young, and then I was, didn't really want to leave my family at the time. But I kind of regret not going active duty. It gives you uh, a little more, I guess, like way to get away, go experience the world, go travel, and that's what I didn't get to experience. But I did like to when I was on there for active duty for that year that I had to be there. This happened right after 9/11. Um, and training. I really enjoy being there active duty, and wish I had went active. So.
Mhm. And for like your ASVAP and your MEPS, how did you do that?
Well, MEPS, that once you decide to enlist, you go to MEPS, and that's basically they're offering your job, telling you what you'd be doing, where you'll be going, give you all your paperwork. Um, and so after that, then you just head on over to your regular duty station after you finish your basic training and training. So.
And for anyone that wants to enlist or is thinking about enlisting, do you have any advice for them?
Oh, um, the only advice that I would give is basically prepare yourself mentally, because you will be away from family. You'll be in a situation where people are yelling at you, and if you're not used to being yelled at, then it's going to be a mental game. And then as well, being away from family again. If you've never been away from your family, you'll want to mentally prepare yourself for that. And then after that, it's just like going to work. So.
And what about physically? How do people have to physically prepare themselves?
Oh, you know, the the exercises that you typically will be doing are push-ups, and that's just the only way that the drill sergeants could discipline you. Of course, they'll add some other exercises with those discipline, but the majority is push-ups. And so, if you're preparing to go work out, go run because there'll be a lot of running as well, a lot of walking.
Mhm.
And so, basic exercise, push ups, sit ups, and run. Prepare yourself for that. And after that is, again, once you finish up your basic training and your AIT, your school, you'll be able to go to the gym and work out however you want, but you have to prepare yourself mentally and physically. So that's, basics exercises to do. So.
Yeah, that's very understandable. I mean, some people usually have a very hard time being away from family, and some people aren't always physically fit, but they have the motivation and drive to join the army. One day they could just wake up and be like, you know what? Maybe I should change my life and enlist in the army. So thank you for serving our country. Thank you for always being there for us as our ROTC cadets and everything. So I really appreciate you just being here and taking the time to take this interview. Do you have anything else to add besides that?
No, I appreciate you coming out and interviewing us, and letting us tell our story, and or giving advice. And thank you all for supporting us.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
That's it for today's episode. We'll see you guys next time on Talking Talons. Bye.